The holidays are right around the corner, so it's a good time to do a self-check-in. How are you feeling? Under normal circumstances, the holidays can be difficult for many of us. There's seasonal depression, the stress of having to travel or buy people presents, and sometimes feeling lonely if you don't have any plans and other people around you seem to be celebrating. But this year, things are going to be extra difficult because things that we usually do, traditions that we usually have, are probably going to look different. During a year of increased isolation, like what we've been having, it can be really tough to think about ending the year alone or without having the family gatherings that we usually have. This can weigh on us very heavily. And sometimes the advice that we hear is to look to the positive. A lot of times our very well-meaning loved ones say, but look at what you still have. You still have your health. You'll be able to stay inside this Christmas where it's safe and warm. But I'm going to tell you why this advice to look to the positive is not always such a good thing. When we have negative thoughts and feelings, we often respond to them in one of two ways. We either avoid them or we dwell on them. But negative feelings are perfectly normal, especially under circumstances where we're stressed or there are a lot of changes going on. We're bound to feel fearful, scared, confused, sad, worried, and all sorts of other emotions. It's important to go through a process of coping with these negative emotions. Avoidance for long periods of time can result in unhealthy habits and behaviors such as overeating, substance abuse, angry outbursts, lack of sleep. And on the other hand, dwelling on these emotions can leave you feeling debilitated. And often this can manifest in the same types of behaviors, not eating right, not sleeping well, or just having these unhealthy, unproductive attempts to mask the pain and the hurt that you're feeling. These have dangerous impacts on our health, both mentally and physically. And during a time of year where illness is very frequent, we don't want to do anything to compromise our immune systems. So when we're feeling broken down, it's time to call AAA. And I don't mean for your vehicle, I mean AAA for coping. There are 3 steps: acknowledgement, acceptance, and adjustment. The first step is to acknowledge our circumstances and how they make us feel. This can go for other people's circumstances as well. We don't all respond to stress and negativity the same way. So if we practice acknowledging how we're feeling and acknowledging that other people might be having a tough time as well, this will get us started on the right foot in our process of coping. Keep in mind that we're all going to be struggling in different ways this holiday. So it's best to not assume that you know how people are feeling. Be open and compassionate and acknowledge that how you're dealing with the holiday stress might manifest differently from how your friends and family are dealing with their holiday stress. Then we can start to accept how we're feeling. It might take a really long time for you to register that these negative feelings are a perfectly normal part of the coping process. So be patient with yourself and witness these emotions with thoughtfulness and mindfulness. So be compassionate to yourself and validate what you're experiencing. For most of us, these negative feelings will wax and wane from day to day. So sometimes they might be really salient, and other days they might be more tucked away underneath the surface. But this is a common misconception for a lot of people, as we witness people who suffer from depression or anxiety or are just feeling burdened by stress, that on a day where they're functioning and they're being productive, we might think that they're totally fine. But that's not the case, because there are always these emotions bubbling underneath the surface. So this is why it's important to accept. Accept what you're feeling and accept what others might be feeling. Once we go through these first 2 steps, then we can start to adjust. And this is where we can start to shift our perspectives and slowly let these negative emotions go and find meaning within them. If you've seen the other videos in my channel, you know that I am a huge proponent of this idea of finding meaning. This is where we take a difficult circumstance or experience and we dig a little bit deeper to find the strength, wisdom, and other silver linings that have resulted from that experience. This is a wonderful tool, but you have to be ready for it. If you try to adjust your perspective too early without going through these previous two steps, then it might leave you feeling even more distraught. And then you're going to start to wonder what you're doing wrong, and that's a place that we do not want you to be in. So this is why when people say, look to the positive, it's not always helpful advice, because you need to be at a certain point in your coping process to be able to let those negative emotions go, heal from them, and find the positive within what you experienced. So be patient with yourself and others this holiday season. Seek support when you need it, but also tune into yourself and seek that self-support. Commit to yourself that you will embrace all of the emotions of the holiday season, whether they're negative or positive. I know this isn't easy, but if you do it under the right circumstances and you do it in your safe space of mindfulness, it can be very helpful to get you through the holidays. And don't forget that it will take time. So use this video just as a starting point, especially if you're grieving the loss of a loved one this year, or the loss of a job, or just big changes that you've experienced because of all of these circumstances in 2020. Let yourself go through the process and let yourself heal one by one from all of these losses and changes. And if you're having a bad day, don't chastise yourself for it. Don't reprimand yourself. Accept it because this is normal. Recognize the feelings that you're feeling, and then take those steps to work through it. To end today's video, we're going to do a quick exercise to help you start this process of acknowledging and accepting the difficult emotions and thoughts that you might be having. So I want you to find your way to a comfortable seat and just make sure that you're as relaxed as you can possibly be. We're going to start by noticing our breath and just witness it without changing it. Close your eyes if it's easier to pay attention to your breath. And once you have that focus on the inhales and the exhales, I want you to think of every breath in as air that is helping to clear your mind. And then each exhale is a little bit of air to clear it even more. And as you start to settle in, I want you to just deepen your breath ever so slightly by breathing in long through your nose and then back out either through your nose or your mouth, whichever is more comfortable. Now we're going to start to focus on different parts of our body and different thoughts and feelings that might arise. I know that this can be difficult, so if at any point it becomes overwhelming for you, then just focus on your breath or mute the video. I don't want you to rush or force any of this. Like I said, it's a process that you have to be patient with. So this is just guidance to help you start this process of acknowledging whatever you're feeling. So stay tuned into yourself and do what you can, but be gentle with yourself. I want you to first picture that cleared mind that you just used your breath to help create that space. And as you focus on your mind, see if any images start to come to fruition. And whatever it is, it doesn't have to necessarily be a negative image or anything like that, but whatever it is, I want you to just accept it. This is the practice of accepting the thoughts that are entering your mind. So let that image come to light. And once it does, I want you to slowly shift your focus from that image in your mind to your stomach. And the reason for your stomach being a focal point here is because when we're feeling negative emotions, a lot of times we get that feeling in the pit of our stomach where we're feeling a little bit sick or we're feeling uneasy. So focus on that area and see what stirs up for you. And if you can, if you are feeling something difficult, stick with it. But as I said before, if it's too much, that's okay. Just resume your breathing, focus on your breath, take a break. And you don't have to put these sensations into words. If you're feeling something in the pit of your stomach, but you don't have a way to describe it, that's okay. Just feel it. And once you have that sensation, I want you to shift your focus up to your heart space. Because oftentimes when we're going through something difficult, we might feel an aching feeling in our heart. Or we might have a rapid heart rate or an uneven heart rate, depending on our stress. So what are you feeling in your heart? Sit with that feeling. And when you're ready, we're going to shift our focus up to our throat. Because a lot of times when we're feeling something difficult, we can feel tension in our throats, our necks, our shoulders, this whole area. We might feel that frog in our throat, that sensation. It might be hard to speak our truth. So focus on any sensations in this area that you might feel, any tension, any hoarseness. And once you've sufficiently focused on this area, now I want you to revisit all the spaces that we put our attention on. That mind space, your stomach, your heart, and your throat area. And let these feelings become one. And if it's heavy for you, but you can still hold on to it, do that. If it's too heavy, then that's okay. Just focus on your breath and commend yourself for even taking this time to try and sit with these emotions. This is all part of the healing process. There are times where the emotions might bubble to the surface and you might start to cry or you might start feeling angry. That's okay because we are in a safe space and this is the time that you've carved out to help yourself prepare for the difficulties that you might face over these next few weeks. So allow yourself to be present where you are with what you're feeling. Don't forget to keep breathing. Breathe into the acknowledgement and the acceptance of these emotions. And to end this practice, I want you to extend your arms and just wrap them around your body and give yourself a nice, warm embrace. This is a sign to your body where you're telling your body, I'm here for you. I will comfort you. It's okay. Feeling what you're feeling is okay. Thinking what you're thinking is okay. I'm here. I've got you. So feel that warmth of your arms around you. And keep breathing. And when you're ready, slowly unwrap your arms and place them down to your sides. And take one last breath. Sigh it out. And then resume your normal breath. And if your eyes are closed, open them in your own time. I know that this was a lot, and I don't always get this heavy, but heavy emotions are part of human experience. So thank you for sticking with me. Next week, we're going to move on to the adjustment step of this coping process. And that's where we're going to start bringing in some of these more positive emotions that we can use to find that deeper meaning in the negative circumstances that we're experiencing. But I don't want you to rush through these steps to get to that video. Over the course of the next week, I want you to either revisit this video or try some of these exercises on your own so you can thoroughly go through these steps of acknowledgement and acceptance. And that way you're ready to extend gratitude and adjust your perspective next week. So subscribe to my channel so you don't miss next week's video. I definitely don't want to leave you hanging here in this negative emotion catharsis. So I really want you to join me in being able to find that clarity and that meaning and positivity so that you can have a healing holiday season. Best of luck over the course of the week, and I will see you next Saturday.